Steve here, Shen RC. I'm going to show you what I do to my Tamiya CC01 Pajero here. After I go through water, the other day I went through some water with this thing. And I'm going to set this up and show you how I take care of it after I go through the water, what I do to it, what I use, and so forth. Alright, here it is. Let's see what I do to this beauty. Like I said, I went through the water really deep with this the other day. I just want to show you guys what I do to the CC01 here. Alright, here it is. First you want to take this gear cover plate off. And check in there, see if there's any water inside from your little adventure that you had fun going through all the water with your truck. Should be pretty hard to pull this up here, especially if you didn't take it apart in a long time. I believe I got all the screws out. Everything's a tight fit in this thing here. There it is. There's the gears. There's a little water in there, as you can see. Now what you want to do, you could use compressed air or a air compressor with a nozzle that blows the air out of it, or if you don't have none of that, you could use a good old-fashioned leaf blower. So I'm going to blow the air out of this and I'll get right back. Alright, I used my compressor and I blew all the water out of there. Now what I want to do is use this Corrosion X. This is what I use. I'm going to use this and spray everything, even the gears, the motor bearings. I'm going to do all the bearings on the gears, everything. I'm going to do that right now and show you guys. I already shook up the can because I didn't want it to make too much of a noise. I just spray some down in there. Make sure it hits the ball bearings. Some on these ball bearings here. Whoops. I'm trying to show you the best I can here, guys. That should be enough. Could even spray some on the gears because this stuff's good. Now inspect these. I'm going to pull the caps off. I always coat these with a coating of grease so I can feel the grease is still on there, so I really don't have to do anything with those. But I do want to spray a little dab on the bearing, just like this. Do that to each side. That way it goes in the bearing, stops the corrosion. Let me check this one here. Yeah, this one's got it on it too, the grease. I'll just hit this real quick. Always put grease on every metal shaft that goes through a ball bearing. This way your ball bearings will never get corroded onto the metal shafts. Whoops. Alright. That's done. Let me get a napkin here. One thing you want to do is hit the motor bearing a little bit with a quick spray. There we go. You can turn it. See how everything's working. Everything looks good. Alright. Now before I put this on, I'm going to go around the edge with some grease to seal everything so water don't get in. You see not a lot of water got in there. That's because I always seal the cases with the grease. Everything's in. I'm going to hit them a little bit with Corrosion X. Whoops. Corrosion X is really good. I use it on all my RC cars. Now I'm just going to coat this, like I said, with some grease. Use like a tacky grease. Just go around. Just like that. All you want this to do is make a little tacky seal to stop anything from getting in. There you go. That should do the trick. And then you got to put it back on. Just like that. Hold it down with pressure. Turn your wheel, see if everything's working. It's all working good. Put your screws back in. Always turn them reverse till you feel a pop. See? Then it'll go in the exact same thread so you won't strip them out. So reverse, hear that pop, then it go in the same thread so you don't always re-thread the thread through the plastic. If you always do this, your trucks last much longer. Just tighten them up. There we go. That's good. On to the next step. Now, I'll show you what I did to my CC01, I have this stick tape over a hole here. I gotta put a new piece on when I'm finished with this. I peel it back. I need a screwdriver. Hold on a second, guys. This will come off easier if you heat it up with a heat gun, like a hair dryer rather. You don't want to use a heat gun, you'll melt the axle housing. This clear stick tape's the best stuff to use because you could actually peel it off later on for everything. Then the foam stuff, it's a pain because everything stays on when you stick it on and you can't get it off. Alright, I don't know if you could see, but there's a hole there I drilled, and what I do is I spray the Corrosion X right in there to the right and to the left. I spray a lot of it so it goes down the axles through the bearings, and even it could come out on the outer bearing. I just spin this around like this and let it sit, and I tilt it. Like I'll leave it sit like this after I'm done for a few minutes on each side, then I'll leave it like this on this side to make it go through the whole pumpkin. And I'll just seal that off later with a new piece of stick tape. Another thing I do is hit right here on this bearing, a little shot. That's the weak spot on this chassis. The bearing that goes through runs on another one on the opposite side of the gear, a little bearing, and that one wears out real fast. So you gotta keep oil in it and don't let it get rusty, or it'll wear out very quick. Alright, now over here I do the same. I give a blast. Right there, let that go into the bearing. It doesn't matter if you get this on your chassis. If you wipe it down like this, it'll protect it actually. When you go in the dirt and stuff, it'll be easier to clean the next time. Alright, get the bearings on the front. And what I do is I take the tires off. Hit that one. First clean it off if you see anything on, like I got some stuff wrapped around here. Just nail it with a little blast. Whoops, that was a bit too much. There you go. Put your wheel back on. Do the other side. Also got to get the inner bearings on this front suspension also, but I don't want to take all the screws out of here and stuff because this is so old, this chassis. If you keep doing that a lot, you'll strip out everything if you always unscrew it all. There we go. Let that go in. You can see my bearings ain't rusty, and these are just standard cheap ones that you get. Alright, another thing I do, like I said, I don't want to take this apart. The cup drive, I spray on the side of that so it goes down into the other bearing. It's going to be hard to see this, but just like that. Spin it and let it go down in the other bearing. Also, that's good to do because there could have been water in there and it rusts. Let me do this side here. Now I could do the back here. Also on the bearings. Put a little spray under there. There you go. One more on the other side. The Corrosion X is really good. It's not like WD-40. The Corrosion X is a very good lubricant, whereas WD-40 is kind of like a cleaner. There you go. Alright, one last thing I check is my bell crank steering. There's a ball bearing on the top there and on the other side and on the other side of the chassis up here. That was a tongue twister. I just give a little spray in there on the bearing so it goes up the shaft and on the rod so nothing corrodes. I give a little spray on this bearing here. And then one last bearing on the top here on the brass bushings. And on the bottom. Should keep your steering working smooth. There's one more spot on the steering rack I gotta do right here on this little brass bushing. Just put a little drip on there. There you go. Everything's smooth again. It'll keep your truck good for the next time you go in the water. And that's how I do it with my Tamiya CC01 rigs. And I've been using these forever, since like 2004. And they're still held up good. Of course I had to replace a few parts here and there. But I never really get a lot of rust or anything and I go through water. So that's a tip, what you could do to your RC vehicles when you go through water. Do that, and your car should last much longer. Guys, please leave a thumbs up. I appreciate it. As always, leave a comment. That'd be sweet. And I'll see you guys next time around.